So I got involved in rowing in 2001 as a coxswain in the Central Florida area. I had a few really influential coaches in that time, which inspired me to get into coaching as soon as I graduated high school. So since I got involved in the sport of rowing, it was really clear and easy for me to see just how influential the sport was and how many lives it had changed. And then when I got involved in coaching in the years to follow, I only continued to see that success. So when my business partner Justin and I were talking about how we could impact more rowers, the first thing that came to mind was to try and coach and instruct and teach as many rowers as possible, and more importantly, give people a great first-hand experience, at a learn to row, so that they continue to love the sport. Yeah, one story that comes to mind since we started at Live to Row was a young man came to us after just graduating high school, set and ready to go to community college locally, and was told that he should check out rowing, and that it might help him get into school or something along those lines. And he found us at Live to Row, and within a few months of teaching and coaching him, we got him to break a couple of records, set a couple of pretty substantial times, and he used those times to start some conversations with coaches. And instead of continuing on at the local community college here, he began rowing out in California at Orange Coast College. That story is just one of many that we've come across where we've seen people get involved in the sport of rowing and it just completely changed their direction, whether it was someone who didn't know that it was even an option to row in college or didn't even know the sport existed altogether. Check it out now. It's never too late. Some of the most fun experiences at Live to Row have been coaching adults who got involved later in the sport who had no idea that they could be as competitive as they were, and continued on to break world records even. Honestly, sharing all the little things that I've learned over the 20 years and sort of learning and teaching it on my own. When rowing is done well, it looks very easy, it looks very fluid, and when you break it down, it is sort of a lot of very simple, small movements. What I enjoy most is really breaking down this whole cycle of movements down into each individual part. My favorite part about teaching people to row is really watching the whole evolution from not knowing how to take a single stroke to realizing how capable and powerful and competitive that they really could be in the sport. Keep it simple. Learn the fundamentals and get really good at those basic first steps. When I'm teaching a new rower, I think of things in this order: position, power, then speed. I like to make sure that all the rowers are comfortable and confident on the machine. Like, teach them where the finish is, teach them where the rock over. If they're not comfortable finding those positions, let's not move on to the next step. But once we're comfortable in that position, it's then learning how to leverage power, learning how to apply power. Once we learn that, then we can think about rowing fast, and that's where speed comes into play. When I'm teaching a new rower, I want to make sure we're learning the basic positions and fundamentals first. Staying patient with learning those is really, really important. Don't get ahead of yourself, and enjoy the process of learning before you're really worried about how fast, how hard, or how far you're rowing. I like to keep rowers focused on quality over quantity. If we can think about the rowing stroke more as a sequence of movements, think about the rowing stroke more like a golf swing. And every time we're taking a new stroke, we're really trying to make sure that it's the best of quality that we can get. The rowing stroke will get challenging quickly at times. When we try and put pieces together, a lot can happen. What I would encourage new rowers to do is focus on keeping it simple, focus on the fundamentals, and do those really well. Don't think about the 10, 11, 12 other things that are going on in the boat or around you. Just do what you know really well. In my opinion, proper technique is paramount. If you keep the focus on rowing well, power and endurance and athleticism will come along with that. There's a common misconception with rowing that, you have to be competitive or you have to want to get on the water. There are more indoor rowers now than there ever have been before. The beauty of the rowing machine is that it meets you where you are. I have taught rowers in their 70s and 80s who haven't thought about fitness in 30 years, and they were able to find success on the rowing machine. So whether you're new to fitness and trying to find something for you, or you're a competitive athlete trying to compete on the water, there's really a place for everybody in the sport of rowing at every level, and it's never too late to get started. I would say find access to high quality coaching as early as possible. Talk to your local rowing club. Ask if they have any Learn to Row schedule. If you have access to an indoor rowing machine, hop on that. There's no better place to learn the basics on rowing than an indoor rowing machine.